Today, we are going to tackle an absolute titan of personal development, Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Our goal here? To boil down this legendary book into a powerful master plan you can start using, well, in the next 5 minutes. Let's jump right in.
You know that feeling, right? Where you are just constantly moving, you're checking things off the to-do list, but at the end of the day, you're exhausted and you think to yourself, did any of that actually matter? Well, that feeling is the exact problem Covey's 7 habits are designed to solve.
But hey, let's be super clear from the get-go. This isn't about some quick tips or trendy life hacks. What Covey gives us is a deep, principle-centered framework. It's about a fundamental shift in how you see everything around you and how you operate in the world.
And believe me, there's a reason this book has sold millions and millions of copies. For decades, it's been the go-to blueprint for anyone looking for real, lasting change, not just in their career, but in their personal life too.
So, what does Covey even mean by effective? See, it's not just about getting things done. It's about getting the right things done, while also taking care of yourself so you can keep getting those results long-term. It's a balance, one that's built on timeless principles, not some superficial personality trick.
Covey lays this all out like a journey, and it makes so much sense. You start with you. It's all about achieving what he calls a private victory, basically mastering yourself first. And only after you've done that can you move on to the public victory, which is all about succeeding with other people.
Okay, so let's dive into that first stage, the private victory. This is the bedrock, the foundation for everything else. It's made up of the first 3 habits that take you from being dependent on other people and circumstances to being truly independent. So these are the 3 pillars of mastering yourself. First, you take control. Second, you figure out your direction. And third, you actually execute on what's most important. Let's break each one of these down.
First up, habit 1, be proactive. And a huge part of this starts with the language you use. Reactive people say things like, there's nothing I can do, or he makes me so mad. They're basically giving their power away. Proactive people take that power back. Just changing your language from I have to do this to I choose to do this is a game changer. It puts you back in the driver's seat.
Now, habit 2, this one's pretty profound. It's called begin with the end in mind. Covey asks you to do this pretty intense thought experiment. Imagine your own funeral. What would you want your family, your friends, your coworkers to say about the kind of person you were and the life you lived? Your answer to that question? Well, that's your personal definition of success. It becomes your North Star. This matrix right here explains habit 3, put first things first. You see, most of us live our lives in quadrant I, putting out fires, or we get totally distracted by the noise and time wasters in quadrants 3 and 4, hello, TikTok rabbit holes. But here's the secret. Highly effective people live in quadrant 2. They intentionally make time for the important stuff that isn't urgent yet, things like planning, prevention, and building relationships. That is where the real growth happens.
So once you've got those first 3 habits down, you've achieved that private victory. Now you're ready to level up. You're ready for the public victory. This is where you move from just being independent to being interdependent, recognizing that we can always achieve more together than we ever could alone.
And this next victory is built on 3 more habits, all designed for amazing collaboration and communication. It's really about shifting your thinking from I to we, so you can create things that are far better than what any one person could do on their own. Habit 4 is a complete mindset shift. Think win-win is not a tactic. It's a philosophy. It throws out the whole idea that for me to win, you have to lose. Instead, you are always looking for a solution that benefits everybody. And if you can't find a win-win, the best option is to agree on no deal and walk away. Okay, habit 5 is probably the most famous and maybe the hardest habit in the whole book. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Think about it. Most of us don't listen to understand. We listen to reply. We're just waiting for our turn to talk. This habit challenges us to really, truly listen to the other person first, to see the world from their perspective before we even try to make our own point. And a great way to think about this is what Covey calls the emotional bank account. Imagine every relationship you have has a bank account. Every time you show kindness, listen, or keep a promise, you make a deposit. Every time you're disrespectful or break trust, you make a withdrawal. You have to have a high balance in that account to make any kind of win-win relationship even possible.
So when you put all these habits together, when you're proactive, you have an end in mind, you're looking for a win-win, and you truly understand each other, that's when you get to habit 6, synergize. This is the magic. It's where 1 + 1 = 3 or 10 or 100. It's about valuing people's differences to create amazing new solutions that nobody could have thought of alone.
So, you've won the private victory and the public victory. You're feeling good. But how do you keep it all going for the long haul? Well, there's one final habit that holds the entire system together.
And that is habit 7, sharpen the saw. It's the habit of renewing yourself. Imagine trying to cut down a tree with a dull saw. It would be exhausting. You have to stop and sharpen it. Covey says we need to do that in 4 key areas of our lives: the physical, the mental, the social/emotional, and the spiritual. Without this, you burn out and all the other habits become impossible.
Whew, okay. That was a whirlwind tour, right? So let's condense it all down into your actionable 7-habit toolkit.
So here's how it all flows together. You start with you. Be proactive and take responsibility. Then begin with the end in mind to define where you're going. You use put first things first to prioritize and stay on track. When you deal with others, you always think win-win. You do that by seeking first to understand, which opens the door to synergize and create amazing things together. And finally, to keep the whole engine running, you constantly sharpen the saw.
So here's the most important part. The goal is not to feel overwhelmed and try to master all 7 habits by tomorrow. The goal is just to start. So look at this list and ask yourself a simple question. Which one of these habits, if I really focused on it right now, would make the biggest positive difference in my life? Pick that one. Start there. That's how real change begins.